What is going on, Pokemon fans? Welcome back to Paul's Wrath. My name is JD, and today we're doing another rendition of What If Wednesday. We take a Pokemon, modify it somehow, and then play through Pokemon Blue, see if it makes it better, does it solve any problems. It's going to be really fun. Today we're going to play through with a Pokemon I played through a couple times on this channel, Parasect. We played through with Parasect in our bug challenge a couple weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago actually at this point. And we beat the game at 1 hour, 5 minutes, 26 seconds on our first playthrough. 2 resets. Wasn't a bad playthrough. The only problem with Parasect has one big problem really, and it's the fact that it just doesn't have good speed. So no matter what you do, there's not a lot of ways to compensate for the speed. We do have access to a badge boosting move like Swords Dance, but it really doesn't compensate for the speed for this Pokemon, so you have to kind of over level, and that takes time. So there's not a lot of ways to optimize this Pokemon. In the second playthrough we did, we beat the game at 1 hour and 29 seconds. Now we were hoping to get under an hour. That was really the goal with this. And I wasn't able to do that. I'm pretty sure I'll play through the third time I will be able to, because I tried a different strategy in the second playthrough, which I guess it worked. It did save 5 minutes. However, I just don't feel comfortable. I didn't feel great about the end result of that playthrough. What we're going to do today is we're going to play through Generation 1, but we're going to go back to Generation 2 and do a thing called an egg move. If you don't know this, in Gen 2, they introduced the concept of Pokemon that bred together. And by breeding, you get some moves when they start the game. Parasect gets a whole bunch of moves whenever it's bred with other Pokemon. You get Counter, False Swipe, Flail, Light Screen, Psybeam, Pursuit, Screech, and Sweet Scent. Now, a bunch of these moves, 1, aren't available in Generation 1, and 2, aren't really useful, but the 2 best moves here are Psybeam and Pursuit. Those are amazing. Those 2 are good moves. If we were playing Generation 2, it'd be really like a fight between which one we want. Psybeam would probably edge out Pursuit, but Pursuit, a dark move, there's some use for that. However, today we're going to take Psybeam and add it to Parasect to start the game. So in Generation 2, if a Parasect and a Butterfree decided to procreate, you'd have a Pokemon that starts out with Psybeam and then all the other moves that Parasect has. Now, we're not starting with the exact moveset that Generation 2 Parasect has, because it's a little bit different than Gen 1. I'm not going to mess with that too much. I'm just going to start the game with Psybeam and see how much better this Pokemon does. Without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into the playthrough. As per tradition, our first battle is against our rival. Our rival's name is What If. We usually say like and sub, because I want you to like and sub to this channel, but we're going to go ahead with What If today, and we named our Pokemon Cabby. And our rival has a Charmander. As per tradition, it is going to be 4 times effective to us as soon as it gets a fire move, so it's a really big disadvantage for this Pokemon compared to other Pokemon. However, we're going to move right on to the Bug Forest. We didn't train extra or anything like that. Having Psybeam does compensate for a lot of problems. For example, in the early game, we don't exactly have a great moveset for the Bug Forest. However, Psybeam is almost a one-shot on the Weedle. If we were 1 level higher at a one-shot. We do replenish a little bit of health here, and we're going to go ahead and go for Psybeam again. Now, we are super weak to poison. That's why we're down to like 5 health, because we are super weak to poison moves. We do level up to level 6. We do need to take a little potion here and heal up, and now we're going to face this next trainer. And here we go. We're going to face this next trainer. Now, Weedle comes out, and like I said, Psybeam is super effective. Some things about this Pokemon. We are a grass bug type, which is why we're 4 times weak to fire. We're also in the medium fast growth rate, which is one of the better growth rates for a playthrough, to be honest. And because of our abysmal speed, we will critical hit 5.86% of the time, which, to be honest with you, it's kind of annoying with this Pokemon is we don't want a critical hit, especially later in the game because we're doing the badge boost. But this Pokemon will critical hit the worst possible times, even though it's really has like almost no percentage of doing it at all. But it's just really a weird mechanic with this Pokemon. Moving on to a second rival battle. He's going to come out with a Pidgey, and Psybeam is great with this because we don't have to put Stun Spore, we don't have to risk being Sand Attack. We can just go straight for broke and just go spam Psybeam until we knock it out. So Charmander goes down to 3, we're level up to level 9, we beat our rival, and now we're going to move right into Brock's gym, where we're going to face the Million Light Years trainer. He's going to come out with a Diglett, and Diglett's going to go down to, 2 Psybeams? Nope, 3 Psybeams. There we go, 3 Psybeams, very good. Diglett's actually not bulky in any sense, but he has a pretty decent special compared to a lot of other ground types. But we do knock out the Sandshrew as well. We level 11, and level 11 seems to be the perfect level we need to go face Brock. Brock, Wakanda forever! He looks like that because his arms are crossed. Comes out with a Geodude. Geodude and Onix both have weak special, so this is why I didn't go heal. This is why I thought we could do this level, whatever level we got here, we'd do it. The only downside and only thing to worry about here is if Onix would have gone for Bide. We do not outspeed Onix, so that could have been bad. However, we beat Brock, and we move right on to Mount Moon, where a lot of things in Mount Moon are actually pretty decent with this Pokemon because there's a lot of Poison type. That's one benefit to this, is a lot of Poison type early in the game. There's a lot of Ekans, there's a lot of Zubats, there's Grimer, there's Coughing. And by using Psybeam, we're able to knock him out pretty easy. So we beat Super Duper Nerd, grab the Dome Fossil, all hail the Dome Fossil. I know if it didn't tell you, you're going to ask. Actually, now think of it, go ahead and ask. Comments are great for the YouTube algorithm. And that leads us right into our next rival battle on Nugget Bridge. Rival number 3. He's going to come out with a Pidgeotto. Pidgeotto's going to come out. We're going to go for Stun Spore and see if we can just, mess around with it a little bit. Psybeam looks like it's going to be about 3-shot. Very good. It's confused, so we knock it out. We do get our accuracy lowered. That's not the best. But we're going to replenish, well, we don't need to replenish our health. We're full health right now with Abra. But Leech Seed is pretty good to replenish your health in this battle if you got a little bit of your health taken away. Psybeam will be a 2-shot. If we just hit again, okay, very good. So that battle could have gone south because of the sand attack, but it didn't. And so now we're going to go face Misty. Now, we did add Dig, so we have Psybeam, Scratch, Leech Life, and Dig right now. So we have 2 good moves. But Psybeam will not do well against Misty's Pokemon. Staryu and Starmie have great special. So we're going to go for Dig. Dig is our better attack. Goes off our physical attack stat. It's our higher of the 2 attacking stats. So it just makes sense. And she can't really do much to us. We are grass type, so she's going to spam Tackle. Tackle doesn't do nothing. We didn't take any damage in that battle. So we beat her and move right on to the SSN where we get one more move that's going to upgrade. And then we got to kind of play a little bit of a 4-move syndrome here. This would be a great Pokemon to have 5 moves. And I'll explain why here in a little bit. But we're going to face this youngster. We're going to knock out his Nidoran. And just to save power points, we're just going to use Leech Life, and we're at full health now. We're going to grab Body Slam. Body Slam is a great move, and now we're going to go ahead and face our next battle against our rival on SSN. He's going to lead out with a Pidgeotto. I got it right this time. Pidgeotto will go down to a 2 Body Slams. Raticate comes out. We're going to go down to do 1 Body Slam. Cadaver's pretty weak physically, so we're going to go and use Leech Seed, though, and replenish some health. Very good. And then Charmeleon comes out, and we're going to go for, dang, we got burned on this. Dig on the Charmeleon. We got lucky there. Being burned, it could have been very bad. We could have taken a reset, but we didn't. And now we're going to face Lieutenant Surge. Lieutenant Surge is going to be a cakewalk. We are resisted to his electric moves. The only thing that could really be bad is Sonic Boom could hit a couple times. But really, in this circumstance, it's not going to do that much damage. We're resisted. And Dig is super effective against all of his Pokemon. And his Dig going to be a 1-shot on the Raichu. It is going to be a 1-shot. So we clean sweep Lieutenant Surge. We're going to leave there and go right into Rock Tunnel and face Boomer the Hiker, and he's going to be pretty easy. Psybeam is going to 1-shot both the Geodudes, and the Graveler's going to take 2. So this battle didn't change. We beat Boomer the Hiker, and we're going to move right on to Celadon City. Now that we're in Celadon City, we're going to take on Erica's Gym. This battle was actually a pretty big risk. Did not know that before we came into this battle. Initially, the strategy was to go for Spore and then gradually knock everyone out with Psybeam or Body Slam. However, we don't outspeed the first Pokemon Victory Bell. It's going to go for Poison Powder on the first turn, which is what it does. We do put it to sleep. That was the strategy. However, we are on the clock now because we get poisoned and we're going to gradually get our health whittled down. She does heal a little bit. Luckily, we're not taking too much damage. That's a good thing. However, Tangela can go for Bind. And if we don't knock out the Tangela quick, it can go for Bind and it takes multiple turns and we're getting poison damage every time. And then the last Pokemon's Vileplume. It'll go down to 2 Psybeams. So this battle wasn't as bad as it could have been. However, we could have maybe done something else and come back. After this battle, we're going to move right on to Giovanni. Giovanni number 1. He's going to be pretty easy. At least his first 2 Pokemon will be pretty easy. Kangaskhan can be tough. Dig on the Onix. It is a 1-shot. Very good. Dig on the Rhyhorn is also a 1-shot. Very good. Now Kangaskhan's going to come out. It's going to outspeed us first. So Bite could have flinched us. That could have been bad. And we'll go for Dig. And we'll go for Body Slam on the second one. It does get a critical hit Comet Punch. That can be bad because it hit multiple times. However, do get the win. He goes, I'm Batman, and vanishes. We grab the Silph Scope, Super Potion, and then we move on to our 5th rival battle. 5th rival, we get a little bit convoluted with this. We should have gone straight for Body Slam, but we do put Pidgeotto to sleep. Body Slam's a 1-shot. Very good. Execute comes out. We did the same thing. Spore and then Body Slam. It can put us to sleep, so that's why you got to worry here. However, Barrage wouldn't do anything, so probably just go for Broke next time, maybe a little bit quicker. Gyarados is a 2-shot. Cadaver's a 1-shot. And then the last Pokemon, Charmeleon. Go for Dig. We do outspeed, so we knock out the Charmeleon pretty easy. This is probably the easiest rival battle in the game. And after this, we're going to move right on to Silphco. I'm going to grab TM3, which is Swords Dance. Now, we don't add it right away, and I think this is where I made a big mistake in this playthrough. I hung on the Psybeam way too long. I thought Psybeam would be very effective against Koga, which it is. It just is a 1-shotting because 1 of our 2 attacking stats special is lower, and 2, Psybeam's kind of just done at this point in the game. It's only 65 base power. It's not stab. It is effective against these Pokemon. It's double effective because these Pokemon are weak to it. However, it's just run its course. And so we have to rely on Spore and then put the Pokemon to sleep and then use Psybeam to gradually knock it out. So like, for example, Weezing here is a 3-shot. And if it wakes up, I mean, it is Gen 1. That's why this strategy is working and we're not, like, getting knocked out. So that's not the worst thing ever. However, we should have moved on from this and just used Swords Dance. And we didn't keep Body Slam either because we decided to stick with Psybeam. This is where I think I made a big mistake in this playthrough. We're facing Blaine now. And we use Spore when we set up on the Growlithe, so we do have a little bit of speed. However, if you look at the speed of Rapidash and of Arcanine, we do not outspeed either one of those. So we get got here. Fire Spin ends up being a multi-hit turn, and with its effective power right now, Fire Spin's 90 base power. That's insane, but we are 4 times weak, so it makes sense. So with 4 times weakness, we get knocked out by the Rapidash, and we're going to take this battle on again. Same thing. Strategy does not change. We still use Spore. And having Body Slam in this isn't going to fix this problem. The problem is we need to be higher level. And that's kind of what the kind of thing I take from this playthrough is, even though Psybeam is just going to speed up the early game, it doesn't fix the overall problem with this Pokemon, which is you need more levels. So if you need more levels, this is why in both of my previous playthroughs, we did not get under an hour, because you have to get extra levels to get extra speed. So you have to level up to outspeed things. And you have to make sure you don't level up in battle. Like right here, we're about to face our rival. I rarely ever do this, but I'm giving it a rare candy with the hopes that we don't level up in the middle of battle. So now we're going to face our 6th rival battle. This is in Silph Co. We're going to come out with a Pidgeot. It's going to outspeed us, so it hits us with a super effective wing attack. We're going to go for setup. Swords Dance 1, Swords Dance 2, Swords Dance 3. Now we do have our speed up. We have all of our other stats up. That was kind of the benefit of facing Blaine. Psybeam. So right now, Body Slam would be way more effective because of going off our physical attack stat. Instead, these battles now become a little bit longer than they needed to be. And this, like I said, this is where the mistakes were made. Psybeam should have been removed, and I should have kept Body Slam. There we go. And Body Slam or Dig on the Alakazam. Now there's 1 Pokemon left, which again, Body Slam would be effective here, but I have to put it to sleep so it doesn't use a fire move on it. Even Ember would do a lot of damage because we're 4 times weak. We do beat What If, our rival. I'm going to move right on to Giovanni number 2. Giovanni number 2 doesn't get much harder because it actually adds a poison type Pokemon. So we're going to go ahead and take out the poison type, actually 2 poison types. So sleep on Nidorino, set up 1, set up 2. Poison Sting actually poisons us, so now we're going to actually go for the knockout. And we're not going to go for a reset or anything. We're going to go for 1 more setup. It can't do much else to us other than, it's hitting us with Poison Sting again. 1 shot on the Kangaskhan. Nope, we don't. We get a 2-shot. It could have been bad there. If we had a critical hit Comet Punch right there, that would have been bad. Rhyhorn goes down to 1 Dig, and now we're going to knock out the Nidoqueen. We just survived with 9 hit points. Like I said, we were poisoned. They're not fun, and we're going to move right on to Sabrina and her whip. And Sabrina's going to come out, and it's got Psychic Pokemon. So all we got to do here is put the Kadabra to sleep. And it's going to go for Disable, which didn't do anything. And we're going to go for Swords Dance. 1, 2, and 3. Fully set up, and we're just going to spam Dig, and Dig will knock out all the Pokemon. Even the Venomoth, which looks like it's a flying Pokemon, but it's not. It is a bug poison. Dig will hit it, knock it out very good. And the last Pokemon, Alakazam, we do not outspeed, but we do get to knock out. Even with an armor up or a reflect up, we still did a lot of damage. And that leads us right into our final gym leader of the game, which is Giovanni number 3. Giovanni number 3, we're going to go for Spore, just so we don't get hit back. We're still a pretty frail Pokemon compared to most. Swords Dance, 3 setup. And now we're going to go for Psybeam on the Rhyhorn, which we don't get to knock out. Body Slam would have been so helpful in this. You don't even know. Like seriously frustrates me. Right there, we would have been a 1-shot with Body Slam. And I'm kicking myself because I stuck with Psybeam way too much because, it's a move we started with, and I thought I'd just, keep it. And it'd be very helpful later in the game. But we don't need a psychic move. We don't need a special move. We needed to stick with all physical stuff. So this playthrough could have been a lot faster than it is. Actually, it's pretty fast right now for a Parasect compared to the other playthroughs. Now we're facing our rival right before the Elite Four, and he's going to lead out with a Pidgeot. Pidgeot comes out, Spore. It's going to set up 1 Swords Dance, 2 Swords Dance, and 3 Swords Dance. Now, I don't know if we outspeed things, because if for some reason this battle, it does not show the rival's Pokemon. However, I'm pretty sure we outspeed everyone except for maybe the Alakazam. Well, right now we probably outspeed, but with with normal stats, we don't outspeed a lot of Pokemon. Dig on the Execute, very good. You have 2 Pokemon left. Now, this is the other reason why Psybeam is not that bad. He has 3 flying Pokemon, so Body Slam would be effective against 3 flying Pokemon. Psybeam's not that effective. Nothing that we have, or nothing that the opposition has, is weak to Psybeam. Body Slam's neutral to everyone, and it goes off our physical attack set. So we don't outspeed. So what we did was we gave a rare candy for this battle. At the last battle, we didn't give a rare candy, so we leveled up at the end of the battle. We didn't outspeed the Charizard, and it just obliterates us with Flamethrower. So now we're setting up again. Same strategy. 1, 2, and 3. Body Slam would have been a one-shot. This is prolonging battles, like I said. Now we're going to go for Dig on the Rhyhorn. Very good. And Dig isn't effective against 3 Pokemon. This is where I made a mistake, and I'll admit that. Am I going to go play this again? No, probably not, because it's just a what if, and it doesn't go towards anything. It doesn't count towards our tier list or anything like that. It's just fun to do. Psybeam will 3-shot the Gyarados. Very good. Alakazam comes out. We're going to go for a Spore, and we don't outspeed the Alakazam. It just went first. I went for a cover, even though we've already done damage to it. Dig is a knockout, so we do level up again. Hopefully we have a little bit more health to survive this Flamethrower. If we don't, this will lead to another playthrough. So this is 2 resets already on our rival, and we had 1 reset earlier. What was that reset on? It was on, not Erica. Was it on a rival earlier? What was it on? No, Blaine. Blaine hit it. Rapidash hit us with Fire Spin. That's what it was. So we knock out the Pidgeot, and we actually went all the way up to level 55. We had a bunch of rare candies. Like, you know, it's just going to go all the way up to the next damage round. And now we knock out the Execute. We're going to go ahead and put Gyarados to sleep. Psybeam's doing just about the same amount of damage to the Gyarados. It's still a 3-shot. And it didn't turn into a 2-shot or anything. But now, nope, we just still don't outspeed the Alakazam. Now we don't level up at the end of the battle, though, and we do outspeed the Charizard. So we're able to use Spore, put Charizard to sleep. It's going to use, how many Psybeams did we use in here? This is 4. So Spore again, 5 and 6. Wow, that could have been really bad, but we get the win, and we're going to move right on to the Elite Four. Now that we're in the Elite Four, we're going to take on Lorelei. She's the first member of the Elite Four Ice-type specialist. She's going to lead out with a Dugong. Dugong Gong Gong. We're going to go and put Dugong to sleep. It likes to go for rest anyway, so we'll go ahead and put it to sleep. It likes to take little naps in the middle of battle. So 1 Swords Dance, 2 Swords Dance, and 3 Swords Dance. And we're going to go for Dig. Dig will one-shot the Dugong. Dig will one-shot the Cloyster. Very good. Slowbro comes out, pretty bulky Pokemon. Will we one-shot? We will. And it leaves 2 Pokemon left. Jinx will be one-shot by Dig as well. Lapras is last, and we lost all of our badge boosts. However, we do still knock out the Lapras. Take no damage from Lorelei. Very good battle. Good way to start the Elite Four. Now leads us right into Bruno. We don't talk about Bruno, the lost hiker of the Elite Four, but we are going to have to talk about him a little bit today. And we're going to have to go for Spore on Onix. Actually, we don't really need to go for Spore. He's not going to do anything that does a lot of damage to us. We can just go straight for Broke and just go for Swords Dance. However, we do set it up. And now we're going to go ahead and go for Psybeam on the Onix. Very good. One-shot. Psybeam on the Hitmonchan. One-shot. Very good. Hitmonlee. One-shot. And I know what you're thinking right now. Like, oh, hey, Psybeam is effective. Body Slam would have been just as effective because we're badge boosting with Swords Dance. So it wouldn't have mattered. But we do get the knockout. We do get the win over Bruno. He's really not that difficult when it comes to Generation 1. But now we're going to move into Agatha. Now, Agatha actually is not going to be that difficult either. If we can just get Spore done on the first turn, we are gravy here. We are good. So we got to get Spore done as long as we can put him to sleep. Swords Dance 1, Swords Dance 2, Swords Dance 3. We were confused, but we powered through the confusion. And we're still not one-shotting with Psybeam. Oh my god. We are fully set up. This is an effective move. We did not one-shot the Gengar with Psybeam. We don't one-shot the Haunter with Psybeam. God, I should have really moved on from this move. But Dig is a one-shot on with the Arbok, and then the last Gengar should be a Dig as well. When we don't hit ourselves, very good. We knock out the Gengar. We beat Agatha. She was actually pretty easy. Usually she's more difficult than this, but pretty easy with this Pokemon. And now we move on to Lance, 4th member of the Elite Four, right before the champion. And he's going to come out with a Gyarados. Gyarados, we're going to go for Spore. Very good. And we're going to go for Swords Dance 1, Swords Dance 2, Swords Dance 3. And again, Body Slam would be great here, but now we are relegated to using... Oh, we almost get knocked out here. Psybeam. So Psybeam knocks out the Gyarados. We're going to go for Dig on the Dragonair. Dig on the second Dragonair. Aerodactyl comes out. We're going to have to go for Spore. We get bit, so we could take a loss here. So that's our 4th reset. I will let you know, in the other 2 playthroughs, we had 1 reset and 2 resets, and we've already had 4 in this one. Body Slam really would have solved a lot of these problems that we're having right now. But we get rid of Psybeam, finally, and get Hyper Beam. So now Hyper Beam pairs very well with Swords Dance. So we're actually able to, once we're done setting up, we're actually able to go for Broke and knock out the Dragonair in the second Dragonair. And an Aerodactyl comes out. We're going to go for it. We do miss, but it also misses too and doesn't do a lot of damage to us. It actually missed the takedown. That's good. And then Hyper Beam on the Dragonite. It's a pretty easy battle once we actually have a physical damaging move that we can use that corresponds very well with Swords Dance. Imagine that. Imagine if the rest of the battles before this would have been like that. Now we're going to go ahead and go for our champion, the final battle of the game, the champ, and we get hit big time right there. So we go for Swords Dance 1, Swords Dance 2. It might not have been a bad idea to have a rest on the moveset. Swords Dance 3, and we don't have Mimic either, so we can't Mimic Recover on the Alakazam. So we got to win this. We got to win this with just what we have in front of us right now. We one-shot the Pidgeot. We're going to go ahead and not one-shot. Oh, we are going to one-shot the Alakazam. We tank that very well. We're going to go for Dig on the Rhydon. Very good. And that leaves 3 Pokemon left. Do we outspeed, and can we knock them out? Hyper Beam on the Exeggutor. Very good. Critical hit. Don't know if that mattered or not. One shot on the Gyarados. And then the last Pokemon is Charizard. We do one-shot. We didn't level up in the middle of battle, which is good. And now we're going to go ahead and get our time locked into Elite Four. And Hall of Fame, we got a 53-minute and 7-second time. So what does this mean for this playthrough? What does it mean for this Pokemon? Well, like I said, it's not a move that I should have used past like a certain point. As soon as I got Swords Dance, should have got rid of it. I should have just gone all in on physical damaging moves, and I probably would have got I probably could have got this maybe around 50 minutes rather than 53 minutes, and really saved like 10 minutes of time. But when you compare this to the time I got in the original 2 playthroughs, the first playthrough I did, actually the first playthrough I did a long time ago, it was like an hour and a half, but that's a long time ago. I didn't have the stats overlay. I didn't have this kind of stuff. I just played the game and had like a Game Boy overlay. It just looked like I was playing a Game Boy, and it didn't have any of the stats or nothing like that. That's a long time ago. That was like 3 years ago. The last time I played this Pokemon, the last 2 times, got an hour and 5 minutes and an hour and 29 seconds. This one, 53 minutes and 7 seconds, a 7-minute improvement over the last time I played. So that's pretty good. What I say is Psybeam, is it a game-breaking move? No. What it does is it speeds up the early game. It speeds up the early game. It actually gives you a little bit of a detriment in some aspects. Not time detriment, but detriment when it comes to what level you're at certain points of the game. In the first 2 playthroughs when I faced Blaine, I outsped the Rapidash and I outsped the Arcanine when it came to that because I was higher level. I was probably about 3 or 4 levels higher at that point. In this circumstance, I'm at lower level because I didn't need to be higher level to get by Brock. I didn't need to be higher level to get by like Misty and whatnot. It does speed up the early game, but it slows down the middle game and then the late game a little bit. And it definitely slowed it down because I didn't use the right move. Let's look at the tier list real quick and see where this Pokemon would have landed. This would have landed this Pokemon right next to Dragonite, right between Dragonite and Pinsir. So you got to imagine this Pokemon did a lot better with the move. Now, is there other things this Pokemon could probably do? I don't know. I didn't look at Generation 3. But I don't think this Pokemon, could do much better. It's very limited. That if you can find a way to negate that speed, like if you had access to agility, it would probably be the one thing that would fix this Pokemon, is having ability to up its speed. But that's the huge downside of this Pokemon. You can't compensate for that speed. Psybeam does help. It does speed up the game, but it doesn't make it anywhere near a top tier Pokemon. It would move it up to the B tier, so that's good for it. And I think if I played through again with Parasect, knowing what I know now, I could get Parasect into the C tier for sure, but I don't think it can go any higher than that. But that's my video. I want to thank you all for watching. This is a what if Parasect starts the game with Psybeam, or an egg move from Generation 2. So I really do appreciate you watching. On Friday, we have our playthrough with Tangela. Now, Tangela was a very interesting playthrough. I think you're going to enjoy it. And then next week, we actually have some things coming up in the next few weeks. Next week, we're going to do a what if. What if Tangela had its Generation 2 moveset? It does drastically change the complexion of this Pokemon. And then next Friday, we're playing through with Exeggutor. We're going to start fully evolved and play through Exeggutor. That's going to be a slog. That's going to be a grind. However, I'm excited for the what if for Exeggutor, because in Generation 2, Exeggutor starts with Confusion, and it gets Stomp at level 19 rather than like 28 or 29, whatever it is in Gen 1. So there's a lot of upside to this Pokemon that I'm hoping to get through in the what if, and I hope you tune in for those as well. Without further ado, this is JD. This is Paulie Wolf's Wrath. I want to thank everyone for watching. Make sure you catch my video on Friday. Have a good one, and see ya.